A strange light in the desert. The New Mexico desert held secrets in its vast emptiness, but none quite like the one Maya Chen was about to discover. As dusk painted the sky in deep purples and golds, she sat on her porch, cleaning the medical supplies she used at the local clinic. The familiar routine helped quiet the memories that still haunted her from her days as a combat medic in Afghanistan. 10 years of military service had left their mark, but out here in the desert, she'd found something close to peace. Her small house, 20 miles from the nearest town, offered the solitude she needed. The local clinic, where she now worked, gave her purpose without the intensity of warfare. It was enough. It had to be. The first sign that this night would be different came as a subtle vibration. Maya felt it through the wooden planks of her porch, a tremor that didn't belong to the usual rhythms of the desert. She set down the medical instruments and stood, her eyes scanning the darkening horizon. A flash of light split the sky, too bright to be a shooting star, too controlled to be lightning. It carved a path through the atmosphere, trailing sparks of impossible colors, violets and teals that shouldn't exist in nature. Maya's training kicked in immediately. Her heart rate steadied, her breathing slowed, and her mind began cataloging details with military precision. The object, whatever it was, struck the ground 3 miles east of her position, by her estimate. The impact sent a visible shockwave across the desert floor, disturbing the evening silence with a deep boom that she felt in her bones. Maya was already moving. She grabbed her emergency medical kit, habit and instinct from years of service, and her truck keys. As she slid behind the wheel of her weathered Jeep, she tried to rationalize what she'd seen. A private spacecraft test gone wrong. Some secret military experiment. Whatever it was, someone might need help. The desert night engulfed her headlights as she navigated the familiar dirt roads. Years of living out here had taught her every ridge and gully. She killed the engine a quarter mile from the impact site, not wanting to announce her presence too boldly. The moon had risen, casting enough light to walk by. The crash site glowed with an eerie luminescence. As Maya crested a small rise, she stopped dead in her tracks. Below her, half buried in the desert sand, lay something that defied explanation. The object was roughly the size of a small bus, but its design was like nothing she'd ever seen. Its surface seemed to flow like liquid metal, and patterns of light pulsed beneath its skin like bioluminescent creatures in the deep ocean. "This is impossible," she whispered to herself, but her feet were already moving forward. Years of running toward danger instead of away from it had hardened her nerves. A section of the craft's hull had split open, and through the breach, Maya could see movement. She approached cautiously, one hand on the small flashlight at her belt. The being that emerged from the wreckage moved with a fluid grace that seemed to defy gravity. Maya somehow knew it was female, stood nearly 7 feet tall. Her skin had a silvery sheen that rippled with iridescent patterns, and her large almond-shaped eyes held an intelligence that transcended species. But what caught Maya's attention was the way the alien held herself, one arm protectively curved around her abdomen, a gesture Maya had seen countless times in her medical career, from mothers protecting their unborn children. The alien's eyes met Maya's, and in that moment, something passed between them, an understanding that went beyond words or species. The alien was injured, that much was clear from the way she moved and the silvery fluid that seeped from several wounds on her body. "Help," the word formed in Maya's mind, but the alien's mouth didn't move. "Please, they're coming." Before Maya could respond, the alien stumbled. Maya rushed forward, catching her before she hit the ground. The alien's skin was warm to the touch, and Maya could feel a rapid pulse beneath the surface, multiple pulses, she realized with a start. "I'm a medic," Maya said, hoping somehow she would be understood. "I can help you." The alien's hand gripped Maya's arm with surprising strength. "My children," the thought came clearer now. "Free, they must survive. The facility, they would use them. Weapons. Please." Maya's training took over. She did a quick assessment. The alien was losing blood, or whatever passed for blood in her species. She needed immediate medical attention, and as she was right about being pregnant, a distant sound caught Maya's attention, the distinctive whoop-whoop of helicopter rotors. Multiple aircraft approaching fast. The alien's fear spiked, translating into a wave of emotion that Maya felt physically. They're coming. The thought was tinged with terror now. The corporation. They'll take my children. Make them into weapons, please. Maya made her decision in that moment. Years of military service had taught her to recognize black ops when she saw them, and something about this felt wrong. Very wrong. The alien was afraid, injured, and pregnant. Whatever was pursuing her, whatever corporation or government agency was involved, they weren't the good guys. Not if they were hunting down a mother and her unborn children. Can you walk? Maya asked, already helping the alien to her feet. My jeep is close. We need to move now. The alien nodded, leaning heavily on Maya as they began to move. The helicopters were getting closer, their searchlights beginning to sweep the desert floor. Maya guided them through a dry wash, using the terrain for cover. They reached the jeep just as the first helicopter crested the ridge. Maya helped the alien into the passenger seat, noting how she had to curl her tall frame to fit. The helicopter's searchlight swept past them, and Maya caught a glimpse of its side. No markings, no identification, definitely not military. She started the engine and threw the jeep into gear, keeping the lights off as she navigated by moonlight. She knew these back roads better than anyone, and right now that knowledge might save their lives. Hold on, she told her passenger, though she wasn't sure if the alien could understand spoken words. The response came as a wave of gratitude and trust that nearly brought tears to her eyes. As they sped through the desert night, Maya's mind raced. She had just committed herself to protecting an alien mother and her unborn triplets from what appeared to be a powerful and dangerous organization. Her peaceful life in the desert had just become considerably more complicated. The alien's hand found hers in the darkness, and another thought formed in Maya's mind. I am Zara. Thank you for helping us. Maya squeezed the hand gently. I'm Maya, and you're welcome. Behind them, more helicopters appeared on the horizon, but Maya was already turning onto a narrow trail that led into a maze-like network of canyons. Whatever came next, she knew her life would never be the same. But as she glanced at her passenger, at Zara, she felt something she hadn't experienced since leaving the military: purpose. The desert night enveloped them as they disappeared into the darkness, leaving behind the crash site and its secrets. But Maya knew this was just the beginning. The real challenges lay ahead, and she would need every bit of her training and experience to keep Zara and her unborn children safe. As they drove deeper into the desert's embrace, Maya couldn't help but smile. After years of feeling lost, she had found something worth fighting for again. And this time, the stakes were literally universal. Trust in the dark. Dawn crept across the desert as Maya guided her jeep through a narrow canyon entrance, barely visible behind a cluster of weathered boulders. The natural formation concealed an old mining cabin she discovered years ago while exploring the area. It wasn't much, but it would have to do. We'll be safe here, Maya said, helping Zara from the vehicle. The alien's condition had deteriorated during their flight, her silvery skin now dulled to a pale gray. The multiple pulses Maya had felt earlier were becoming erratic. Inside the cabin, Maya cleared off a sturdy wooden table, laying out her medical supplies. Her mind raced through her training, trying to adapt human medical knowledge to an alien physiology. Zara's hand touched her arm, and suddenly Maya's mind filled with images, detailed anatomical information about her species. You're helping me understand, Maya said, amazed at the telepathic sharing. But this is draining you. Save your strength. The children, Zara's thoughts were weaker now. They are why Genesis Corporation hunts us. Their abilities, they manifest even before birth. As if in response to their mother's words, a soft blue glow emanated from Zara's abdomen. Maya gasped as she felt a gentle warmth spread through her body, and her fatigue from the night's events melted away. One of the unborn children was healing her. Extraordinary, Maya whispered. They can heal. Each has a different gift. Zora's thoughts came with a mix of pride and fear. One heals, one can manipulate energy, and one can see possible futures. Genesis, they would turn them into weapons. Their father died protecting us during our escape. Maya's hands moved with practiced efficiency as she treated Zora's wounds, now understanding why a corporation would go to such lengths to capture them. The implications were staggering. Children with such abilities could be used to create super soldiers, or worse. How did you end up at their facility? Maya asked, applying a modified version of synthetic skin to a particularly deep gash. Images flooded Maya's mind. A peaceful scientific mission to Earth, detection by Genesis Corporation's satellites, a forced landing, capture, months of experiments. The memories carried such pain that Maya had to steady herself against the table. "I'm sorry," she said softly, "but you're safe now. I won't let them take you or your children." A distant rumble interrupted them, vehicles on the desert roads. Maya moved to the window, using her old field binoculars to scan the area. Black SUVs with tinted windows were moving in a search pattern across the desert floor. "They're being thorough," Maya muttered. "Professional. These aren't just corporate security, they're military contractors." She turned back to Zora, whose large eyes held a depth of wisdom and worry. "We need to understand what we're up against. Can you show me more about Genesis?" Zora nodded, and the information flowed between them. Maya saw glimpses of the facility, a massive underground complex hidden beneath an innocent-looking research center. She saw scientists in white labs coats, armed guards, and something that made her blood run cold. Other aliens, clearly prisoners, being subjected to experiments. They've been doing this for years, Maya realized. Testing alien biology, trying to weaponize it. And now with your children. Their abilities would give Genesis unprecedented power, Zora confirmed. "My people are peaceful. We explore, we learn, we share knowledge." But Genesis would turn our gifts into weapons of war. Maya's military training kicked in, analyzing the situation tactically. The cabin wouldn't stay safe for long. They needed a better plan. But moving Zora in her condition was risky, especially with the children so close to term. A flash of movement caught Maya's eye. Through the window, she spotted something that made her heart skip. A drone, nearly invisible against the morning sky, sweeping the canyon with infrared sensors. "They're getting closer," Maya whispered. "We need to." She was cut off by a sudden gasp from Zora. The alien's body tensed, and the blue glow from her abdomen intensified. Maya felt a wave of emotion that wasn't her own, a mixture of pain, fear, and something else, anticipation. The children, Zora's thought came with urgent clarity. "They're coming, now." Maya's mind raced. She was trained in emergency medicine, had delivered babies in combat zones, but this was something else entirely. And with Genesis closing in, a new determination settled over her. She had made a promise, and she would keep it, whatever it took. "Okay," Maya said, pulling on sterile gloves. "We'll deliver these babies, and we'll keep them safe. But first, we need to buy some time." She rushed to her jeep, grabbing emergency flares and some old mining equipment she'd found in the cabin. Years of combat experience had taught her how to create diversions. She quickly set up a series of delayed charges, nothing lethal, but enough to confuse their pursuers. Back inside, Zora's body was beginning to emit a soft, pulsing light. The air crackled with energy Maya couldn't quite understand, but could definitely feel. The unborn children were responding to their mother's distress, their combined powers creating phenomena Maya had no context for. "I'm here," Maya said, taking Zora's hand. "We'll do this together." The alien's grip tightened as the first contraction hit. Outside, Maya heard the drone getting closer, and beyond that, the sound of approaching vehicles. They were running out of time. But as Maya looked into Zara's eyes, she felt something she hadn't experienced since her days in combat, the absolute clarity of purpose that came with protecting those who needed her. She had spent years running from her past, hiding in the desert. But now, fate had given her a new mission, one that might just determine the future of two species. The first of her charges detonated in the distance, and Maya allowed herself a small smile. Let Genesis come. She was ready. "All right," she said, gathering her supplies. "Let's bring these little ones into the world, and then we'll show Genesis exactly what happens when they threaten a family under my protection." Zara's gratitude and trust flowed through their mental connection, strengthening Maya's resolve. As the dawn light filled the cabin, both human and alien prepared for a birth that would change everything if they could survive the next few hours. Children of two worlds. The old mining cabin thrummed with energy as Zara's labor intensified. Bands of light rippled across her silvery skin, and the air itself seemed to pulse with each contraction. Maya worked swiftly, her combat medical training adapting to the most extraordinary birth she would ever assist. The first one, Zara's thoughts reached Maya. She sees dangers coming. As if on cue, the first child's consciousness touched Maya's mind, flooding her with rapid-fire images. Genesis forces converging on their location, attack drones moving into position, a commander giving orders to take the children at any cost. But also possible escape routes, moments of opportunity, chances for survival. "Your daughter's helping us," Maya said, amazed. "She's showing me what's coming." She quickly processed the tactical information while monitoring Zara's condition. Just like her mother, already protecting her family. The birth process was unlike anything in Maya's experience. Rather than traditional labor, Zara's body appeared to be undergoing an energy transformation. The first child emerged in a cocoon of softly glowing light, her tiny form perfectly formed up translucent, as if made of living crystal. Maya caught the infant with practiced hands, watching in wonder as the crystalline appearance solidified into more conventional flesh, though still with that distinctive silvery sheen. The baby's eyes opened, revealing irises that shifted like kaleidoscopes, taking in possible futures. "She's beautiful," Maya whispered, quickly checking vital signs that somehow she instinctively understood. "And perfect." A series of explosions rocked the canyon, Maya's diversion charges detonating. Through the newborn's shared visions, she knew they had bought maybe 20 minutes at most. The second child came faster, announcing their arrival with a pulse of pure energy that temporarily disabled every electronic device within 100 yards, including Genesis's approaching drones. This one emerged wreathed in crackling fields of power, their tiny hands already grasping at the energy around them. A protector, Zara's thoughts came with pride, even through her exhaustion. Like their father. Maya secured the second child beside their sister, marveling at how the two infants immediately reached for each other, their powers harmonizing in visible waves of light. But there was no time to wonder. The third child was coming, and Genesis was getting closer. The final birth transformed the cabin into something otherworldly. As the third triplet emerged, waves of healing energy pulsed outward. Maya watched in amazement as Zara's wounds began to close, her strength visibly returning. The infant's power reached out to their siblings, to their mother, and to Maya herself, knitting together their small group in a web of healing and renewal. "The healer," Maya said softly, placing the third child with their siblings. "They're all incredible." The three infants lay together, their combined powers creating a soft aurora of light around them. Each was distinct. The seer with her kaleidoscope eyes, the warrior crackling with energy, and the healer glowing with inner light. Yet they moved and reacted as one, already showing signs of the deep bond they would share. "Maya," Zara's thought voice was stronger now, thanks to her healing child. "They accept you, feel you as family." Before Maya could respond, the seer child sent her another vision. Genesis forces had found the hidden road to the cabin. They had less than 5 minutes. "We need to move," Maya said, already gathering emergency supplies. "Can you walk?" Zara stood, her strength restored by her healer child. The triplets remained eerily calm, as if they understood the gravity of their situation. Maya led them to a narrow passage at the back of the cabin, an old mining tunnel she had discovered and kept secret. "This connects to a larger system of caves," Maya explained as they entered the tunnel. "It'll take us under the canyon and up into the mountains. I've stopped emergency supplies at key points." The sound of helicopters grew louder above them. Maya pulled a small detonator from her pocket, her last surprise for their pursuers. She pressed the button as they moved deeper into the tunnel, and behind them, the cabin collapsed in a controlled demolition, sealing the tunnel. The seer child's visions guided their path, the warrior child's energy helped clear minor cave-ins, and the healer's power kept them all moving despite exhaustion. "Your children are amazing," Maya said as they navigated the tunnel system. "They're already working together, protecting each other." "They protect you too," Zara replied. "They sense your heart, your choice to help us. In our culture, such bonds are sacred." Maya felt it then, a connection to these extraordinary children that went beyond her role as protector. The triplets had accepted her as part of their family unit, their powers reaching out to include her in their circle of trust and love. The tunnel opened into a larger cave, one of Maya's emergency supply caches. As they paused to rest and plan their next move, she looked at the remarkable family she had helped bring into the world. 3 hybrid children, born of the stars but now tied to Earth through their unusual birth and the human who had helped deliver them. "Genesis will never stop hunting them," Maya said, checking the supplies. "They'll throw everything they have at us." "Then they will learn," Zara replied, her voice carrying steel beneath its usual gentleness. "What happens when they threaten a family protected by both human courage and alien power?" The triplets stirred in their makeshift blankets, their combined glow strengthening as if in agreement. Maya smiled, checking the old mining maps she had stored here. The caves would take them into sacred Native American lands, where she had allies, people who understood the importance of protecting special children from those who would exploit them. "Rest while you can," Maya told Zara, setting up a temporary camp. "We move again in 2 hours. Genesis may have resources, but we have something they don't." "What is that?" Zara asked. Maya looked at the triplets, then at their mother. A real family, and speaking from military experience, that's the strongest force in any universe. The babies cooed in their sleep, their powers creating dancing patterns of light on the cave walls. Maya settled in to keep watch, her hand resting near her weapon, but her heart fuller than it had been in years. She had helped bring these remarkable children into the world. Now she would help keep them safe in it, no matter what it took. Above them, Genesis forces searched in vain, unaware that beneath their feet, a new kind of family was being forged, one that would ultimately challenge everything they thought they knew about power, humanity, and the bonds that truly matter. Sacred ground. The desert dawn painted the canyon walls in shades of amber as Maya led her unusual family out of a hidden cave entrance. After 12 hours underground, they emerged onto the edges of the Navajo Nation territory. The triplets, now wrapped in thermal blankets, remained remarkably quiet, communicating through their shared psychic bond. "My friend Sarah Running Bear lives 2 miles east," Maya whispered, scanning the horizon with her binoculars. "She's a tribal elder and healer. If anyone will understand our situation, it's her." Zara nodded, cradling the triplets. The children's powers had already grown noticeably in the hours since their birth. The seer child's eyes flickered constantly with visions, the warrior child maintained a subtle energy shield around them, and the healer's presence kept them all alert and strong despite their ordeal. Genesis approaches from the south, the seer child's vision flowed through their shared connection. "They have brought something different, dangerous." Maya caught glimpses through the child's power, Genesis forces deploying what looked like reverse-engineered alien technology. The corporation had been busy with their stolen research. "They're adapting," Maya muttered. "Learning. We need to move faster." They made their way across the rocky terrain, using the natural formations for cover. Maya's years of combat experience merged seamlessly with the triplets' abilities. The seer warning of danger, the warrior deflecting drone scans, the healer masking their energy signatures. A low hum filled the air, and Maya pulled them behind a boulder just as a Genesis patrol craft passed overhead. Its design was like nothing she'd seen before, a hybrid of human and alien technology. "They're using knowledge stolen from my people." Zara's thoughts carried anger and sorrow. "Corrupting it for weapons." "Look," Maya pointed to a dust cloud approaching from the east. "That's Sarah, right on time." An old pickup truck rumbled toward them, driven by a woman in her 60s wearing traditional Navajo dress. Sarah Running Bear had been Maya's first friend when she moved to the desert, teaching her the old ways of healing that complemented her medical training. The truck stopped, and Sarah stepped out, her weathered face showing no surprise at the sight of an alien mother and her hybrid children. "The stars spoke of your coming," she said simply. "Our people have known this day would arrive." Maya helped Zara and the triplets into the truck's covered bed while Sarah kept watch. "Genesis has no authority on tribal lands," Sarah explained as they drove, "but they'll come anyway. They always do." "They're already here." The seer child's warning came just as an energy blast struck the ground beside them. 3 Genesis aircraft descended from the clouds, their hybrid technology giving them unprecedented maneuverability. Maya recognized the tactics. They were being herded. "Sarah, head for the canyon," Maya shouted, remembering her friend's stories about the sacred caves. The warrior child responded to the danger, that energy shield expanding to cover the truck as more blasts rained down. Sarah drove with remarkable skill, weaving between rock formations as Maya returned fire with her rifle. The healer child's power surged, somehow reinforcing the truck's frame against the stress of their escape. "There." Sarah pointed to a narrow gap between towering red cliffs. "The sacred grounds. They cannot follow us there." The truck squeezed through the gap, entering a hidden valley that seemed to shimmer with its own inner light. Ancient petroglyphs covered the walls, depicting what Maya now realized were previous visits from Zara's people. "Your kind has been here before," Sarah said to Zara as they quickly unloaded. "Our ancestors spoke of star people who came in peace, sharing wisdom and healing." "Yes," Zara confirmed. "Earth was once a place of peaceful contact, before fear and greed poisoned the relationship." The sound of Genesis forces grew closer. Sarah led them to a cave entrance, marked with symbols of protection. "These caves are sacred to my people," she explained. "They also shielded from most scanning technology, something about the mineral composition." Inside, the cave opened into a vast chamber filled with ancient artifacts and modern survival supplies. "We've been preparing," Sarah said. "The elders saw this coming. Many of us still remember what the government did to our people. We won't let them take your children." Maya helped settle Zara and the triplets while Sarah began preparations for an old protection ceremony. The babies were growing stronger by the hour, their powers integrating in new ways. Suddenly, the seer child's warning hit them all. Genesis had brought in something massive, a weapon reverse-engineered from salvaged alien technology. Its power signature was off the charts. "They mean to break the sanctuary," Zara said, holding her children closer. "To desecrate this sacred place." Sarah's face hardened with determination. "Let them try. This land has its own power, its own guardians." Maya felt it then, a deep thrumming energy rising from the earth itself, responding to the triplets' presence. The ancient and the alien, the earthly and the cosmic, beginning to resonate together. The children, Maya realized. They're connecting with the land's energy, just like they connected with us. The warrior child's power reached out, merging with the cave's natural defenses. The healer strengthened the bonds between all present, while the seer showed them glimpses of possible victory. "We hold this ground," Maya said, checking her weapons while Sarah prepared indigenous medicines and protective talismans. "We hold it together." Outside, Genesis forces began their assault on the sacred valley, but inside the cave, something remarkable was happening. A convergence of ancient earth wisdom, alien power, and human determination. The triplets, now glowing with combined power, reached out to touch Maya's hand. In that moment, she saw their shared future with crystal clarity, not just a family to protect, but a bridge between worlds. A chance to heal old wounds and forge a new path. Sarah began to chant in her native tongue, the sound merging with the cave's resonance. Zara added her own harmonic alien melody, and the triplets' powers pulsed in sync with both. Maya stood ready, feeling the power of two worlds flowing through her. Genesis wanted weapons, but they didn't understand true power, the kind that came from love, from family, from the choice to protect rather than destroy. The first explosions rocked the valley's entrance. The final battle for the children's future was about to begin. But as Maya looked at her newfound family, alien mother, hybrid children, tribal elder, and sacred land, she knew they would not stand alone. "Together," she said, and felt the response echo through their shared bond. The children's combined powers illuminated the cave like a newborn sun, ready to show Genesis the true meaning of force. The earth trembled as their enemies approached, but Maya smiled. Some grounds were too sacred to fall, some bonds too strong to break, and some families too precious to surrender. The real question wasn't whether they would survive, it was whether Genesis would survive facing them. The power of choice. The sacred cave shuddered under Genesis Corporation's assault. Outside, the hybrid weapon charged with a sound that set teeth on edge, a wrongness that spoke of stolen technology perverted from its original purpose. But inside the cave, something beautiful was taking shape. The triplets, now 12 hours old, had created a sphere of pure energy around themselves, their mother, Maya, and Sarah. Each child's power had grown exponentially, but it was their synthesis that proved truly remarkable. The seer's visions guided the warrior's defenses, while the healer strengthened them all. They're not just surviving, Maya realized, watching the children work in perfect harmony. They're thriving. Everything Genesis feared about their potential, but not for weapons, for protection, for life. Sarah continued her ancient chants, drawing sigils on the cave floor with sacred herbs and mineral pigments. The triplets' energy field began to pulse in rhythm with her song, merging alien power with Earth's ancient forces. "Your children," Sarah said during a pause, "they understand. The old ways, the star ways, it's all one path. Different words for the same truth." A massive explosion rocked the valley. Through the seer child's shared vision, they watched Genesis deploy their ultimate weapon, a massive cannon reverse-engineered from the same technology that had powered Zara's crashed ship. "They've weaponized our healing technology," Zara's thoughts carried deep sorrow. "Our tools for restoration, twisted to destroy." Maya checked her remaining ammunition, pitifully inadequate against the forces outside. But as she watched the triplets work, she understood that conventional weapons wouldn't decide this fight. "My children," Zara suddenly broadcast to them all, "show them what our power truly means." The triplets responded as one. The seer child's eyes blazed with possibility, sharing visions not just of danger, but of opportunity. The warrior child's defensive sphere began to pulse with new purpose, not just blocking energy but transforming it. And the healer began to glow with a light that spoke of renewal. They're not just defending, Maya understood suddenly. They're offering a choice. Genesis's weapon fired, sending a beam of corrupted energy straight at the cave. But when it struck the triplets' combined shield, something extraordinary happened. Instead of destruction, there was transformation. The warrior child caught the energy, their power spinning it into new patterns. The healer purified it, stripping away the corruption of Genesis's modifications. And the seer shaped it with purpose, guided by visions of what could be rather than what was. The transformed energy rippled outward in a wave of pure restoration. Where it touched the Genesis forces, their hybrid weapons began to shift, returning to their original healing configurations. Soldiers found their neural implants redirecting aggression into understanding. "They're showing them the truth," Sarah whispered in awe. "The real power of their gifts." Maya watched through the seer's shared vision as confusion spread through the Genesis ranks. The soldiers' neural enhancements, designed to suppress empathy, were being restored to their proper function. Many dropped their weapons, overwhelmed by the sudden return of their full humanity. But Genesis's commanders, watching from their command ship high above, were not so easily swayed. They ordered their remaining forces to push forward, even as their technology continued to transform under the triplets' influence. "They still don't understand," Zara observed sadly. "Even now, they think power means control." The triplets combined their gifts one final time. The seer showed Genesis's leaders visions of possible futures, both the path of destruction they were on and alternatives that could be. The warrior took their fear and transformed it into understanding, and the healer offered them what they needed most, a chance to change. Maya felt the children's offer echo through her mind: choose. Not between victory and defeat, but between fear and growth, between control and connection. The Genesis commanders hesitated. Through the seer's vision, Maya watched their internal struggle. Years of corporate conditioning warred against the fundamental human capacity for change. In that moment of choice, Sarah's chanting reached a crescendo, and the cave itself seemed to pulse with power. The triplets' energy field expanded, encompassing the entire valley. Ancient petroglyphs began to glow, resonating with the children's power. This is what Genesis never understood, Maya realized. Real power isn't about weapons or control. It's about connection, choice, growth. The Genesis command ship hung in the air, its weapons powered but inactive. Maya could feel a tension in that moment of decision, everything balanced on the edge of a choice. Then, slowly, the command ship's weapons powered down. The wave of relief was palpable. Through their shared connection, Maya felt the Genesis commander's realization. They had been offered something far more valuable than weapons. They had been given a chance to be part of something greater. As the transformed energy continued to spread, healing and restoring, Maya looked at the remarkable family she had helped protect. Zara held her children, each of them glowing with power used as it was meant to be used, not to destroy, but to transform. Sarah stepped forward, her ceremonial items gathered in her arms. "The prophecy spoke of this day," she said, "not as an ending, but a beginning. The Star People return, not with weapons, but with healing, with choice." The triplets reached out to Maya, their touch filling her with visions of what came next. A future where human and alien wisdom could combine, where ancient Earth knowledge and advanced cosmic understanding could work together. A future they would help build. Genesis forces were standing down across the valley, their weapons transformed, their neural modifications restored to their original healing purpose. The corporation's leadership would have much to answer for, but that was a battle for another day. Right now, Maya had a family to protect and nurture. A family that bridged worlds, that proved power could be about creation rather than destruction, about offering choices rather than forcing compliance. The sun broke through the clouds, illuminating the valley in gold. Maya felt the triplets' joy at the light, their powers harmonizing with the natural world around them. They were hours old, yet they had already changed the world. But their greatest work, Maya knew, was just beginning. A new dawn. 3 months after the confrontation in the Sacred Valley, Maya sat on the porch of her new home, watching the triplets play in the evening air. The children, though only a quarter of a year old, already appeared to be toddlers, their hybrid nature accelerating their growth while their powers continued to evolve in remarkable ways. The house, built into the side of a mesa on Navajo land, combined the best of 3 worlds: human technology, alien innovation, and Earth's ancient wisdom. Solar panels merged with crystalline energy collectors of Zora's design, while traditional blessing symbols were carved into every doorway. "Still hard to believe sometimes," Sarah said, joining Maya on the porch. The elder had become a grandmother figure to the triplets, teaching them Earth's old songs, even as they shared their own cosmic harmonies. The seer child, now named Aurora, looked up from where she was drawing patterns in the sand, her kaleidoscope eyes swirling with future possibilities. Her sister, the warrior child named Terra, maintained a protective energy field around their play area out of habit, while Celeste, the healer, made flowers bloom wherever she touched the ground. "They're changing everything," Maya said softly, watching Zara emerge from the house to join her children. "Not just technology or politics, they're changing how we see ourselves." The aftermath of the Genesis confrontation had sparked a global transformation. The corporation's leadership had been arrested, their weapons programs exposed. But more importantly, the existence of peaceful alien contact could no longer be hidden. The triplets had become a bridge between worlds. Their very existence proved that humanity's future lay not in weapons or control, but in synthesis and growth. Under Zara's guidance and with Maya's protection, they were helping forge a new path forward. "The council arrives tomorrow," Zara reminded them, her thoughts now easily reaching everyone. The new interspecies coalition, formed in the wake of Genesis' exposure, would be holding its first major meeting here, in this unlikely sanctuary. Maya nodded, feeling the weight of what they'd built. Representatives from Earth's governments would meet with delegates from Zara's people and other peaceful spacefaring races. The triplets would be there, living proof that different species could not only coexist, but create something beautiful together. "Mother," Aurora called out suddenly, her voice carrying both spoken word and thought. "I see them coming. The stars are aligning." The other children gathered around their sister, adding their powers to her vision. Terra strengthened it, while Celeste helped share it with the adults. Through their combined abilities, Maya saw flashes of the future, ships descending peacefully from the stars, human and alien children learning together, new cities that blended technology and nature. "It's not just about first contact anymore," Maya realized. "It's about first family." Sarah nodded, her wise eyes twinkling. The old stories spoke of this, a time when star people would return, not as conquerors or saviors, but as relatives, when the circle would be completed. The sun began to set, painting the desert in familiar golds and purples. But now those colors were joined by the gentle glow of alien crystals and the shimmer of protective fields, different kinds of light working in harmony. Zara moved to stand beside Maya, their shoulders touching. In the months since the birth, their bond had deepened into something beyond protector and protected. They were partners now, co-parents to 3 extraordinary children who belonged to both worlds and something entirely new. "I never thought I'd find this," Maya said softly. "After leaving the military, I thought I was done with family, with purpose. I came to the desert to be alone." "The universe," Zara replied, her thoughts warm with affection, "has a way of giving us not what we think we want, but what we truly need." The triplets ran to them, each child glowing with their unique energy, but moving in perfect sync. They had learned to speak English and several alien languages, but they still preferred the pure communication of thought and emotion they shared with their family. "Tomorrow changes everything," Aurora announced, her eyes swirling with visions. "No, little one," Maya corrected gently, kneeling to embrace all 3 children. "We already changed everything. Tomorrow just makes it official." Terra's energy field expanded to envelop them all in warmth, while Celeste's healing power soothed away any lingering doubts. The family stood together, watching the first stars appear in the darkening sky. Sarah began to sing an ancient blessing song, her voice carrying across the desert. Zara joined in with her alien harmonies, and the triplets added their own otherworldly notes. Maya listened, feeling the convergence of everything that had led to this moment: her military training, her years of solitude, her choice to help a stranger in need. New lights appeared in the sky, not stars this time, but ships. The first delegates arriving early for tomorrow's council, but Maya wasn't worried about protocols or politics. She had found something far more important, a family that transcended species, a purpose that bridged worlds, and a love that proved humanity's greatest strength wasn't in weapons or walls, but in its capacity to grow, to change, and to embrace the unknown. Aurora giggled suddenly, sharing a glimpse of tomorrow's events, moments of surprise, joy, and discovery as humans and aliens learn to see each other as people rather than threats or resources. That's the real gift, isn't it? Maya said, looking at her family, not the powers or the technology. Just this, the choice to love, to protect, to be more than we thought possible. The triplets nodded in unison, their powers creating a gentle aurora above their home. Terra's defensive field now felt less like a barrier and more like an embrace. Celeste's healing energy merged with the desert's ancient strength, and Aurora's visions showed them all what they had become, not quite human, not quite alien, but something wonderfully, perfectly new. Sarah picked up her ceremonial drum, adding its heartbeat rhythm to the evening's song. The sound merged with the hum of approaching ships and the whisper of desert wind, creating a harmony that spoke of endings and beginnings, of old wisdom and new discoveries, of a future limited only by the capacity to love. Maya held her family close, guardian and protector, soldier and mother, human and something more. Tomorrow would bring changes, but tonight was for this moment, this miracle, this choice that had become a destiny. Above them, the stars seemed to pulse in rhythm with the triplets' powers, as if the very universe was celebrating what they had become, not through force or fear, but through the simple, extraordinary power of choosing to help, to trust, and to love. The first chapter was ending, but the real story was just beginning.